So this bat has a compound break on one of its wings, more than likely blown down too low and hit the tail, unfortunately.
Take him straight back and see what they can do back at the wildlife hospital. It was found just hanging on these hibiscus. It's got an injured wing. We think it might be broken. But yeah, he's still pretty lively. So heads up.
Next up is a snake that was dropped off with reported injuries from a domestic cat attack.
So if you have time, we can go now.
Yeah, I think we can get it now, see what he does.
Yeah. So we've had a little snake dropped off, which we believe is a brown tree snake. Haven't actually seen him yet, and he's been cat attacked. All the smaller snakes do get grabbed by cats. The bad side of it is sometimes it's beyond us being able to fix them, but often the cats have just grabbed them and brought them inside and punctured them, and we just need to cover them with some antibiotics so they don't get infected and we can return them back out there. So, let's see what we've got. These are a mildly venomous snake, so Stoke will be a little bit cautious, but they're not a real threat. How you going, mate? I'll get you down. What have you still got in you? That's it, looking around. So the way he's looking around doesn't suggest he's neurological. Doesn't really want to move off. Look, open his mouth a little. You can see a little bite in here. Yeah, so that opening your mouth, that's not normal posture if they're trying to be threatening towards me. That was more like a painful response.
Domestic pet attacks make up a large percentage of the wildlife we see here at Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital. It is incredibly important to monitor pets when they're taken outside to avoid harm coming to wildlife or the pet. And unfortunately, it is often our precious native species that are most vulnerable to these attacks.
Grab a quick x-ray of him?
Yeah.
I think the details are really limited, but we could still check.
Yeah, I think if the x-ray works, it might be worth giving him a go for
Yeah.
a day or so. While we wait for the verdict on the snake, we've gotten the call from a local vet for some lorikeets with the all too common illness, lorikeet paralysis syndrome. Once an affected bird is identified as having the syndrome, it is essential to get the bird into care as soon as possible before the illness progresses too far.
Okay, so we're just going to get him out and have a look how he moves. So at the moment, around this time of year, we're seeing a lot of lorikeets coming in with similar signs to this guy, and it's a syndrome called lorikeet paralysis syndrome, and they present with various degrees of paralysis, so they're unable to fly, and they're kind of walking along the ground and falling over, stumbling around. We don't actually know what's causing it, and there's a lot of investigation going on at the moment to figure it out. One of the leading ideas at the moment is a toxin that they're eating, maybe from a plant, but there's also seems to be various degrees of trauma going on as well, and they've tested for other viruses, bacteria, all sorts of pathogens, but nothing's really coming up. So yeah, it's definitely makes it a bit harder to treat because we don't know what's causing it, but we do find a fairly good recovery rate with supportive care. So we've got, I don't know how many, we've got 20 birds outside, I think another 20 or 30 in our bird ward, and we've sent a lot off to carers. And with supportive care, we seem to have a fairly good response and sending them back out to the wild. Sweet, so our x-rays look really good. So we've ruled out any other causes of the paralysis. So yeah, he does look like a lorikeet paralysis syndrome case. I'd give him a stage 2 on our grading system, which is out of 6. So we'll give him some fluids, and some anti-inflammatories, and then send him to the nursery where they can look after him.
The lorikeet has been placed into care and is expected to make a full recovery, having been able to treat the syndrome just in time. The flying fox and brown tree snake from earlier unfortunately sustained injuries too severe to rehabilitate, and sadly they didn't make it. With both these native animals being affected by either road users or domestic animals, it is an important reminder to slow down on our roads and keep an eye on your pets. If you can do your part, you may save one animal from coming to harm. And saving one goes a long way to saving all of our precious species.